Right then, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to talk about Kobbie Mainoo today. And I'm going to talk about Kobbie Mainoo because I think what Manchester United do in terms of being a football club that brings through academy products is almost unmatched across the world. I put United, Ajax and Barcelona in the sort of category of players or player-producing clubs that stand alone. Now, you'll say Ajax and Barcelona have arguably in the last 20 or so years produced more world-class players than Manchester United, and I think that's fair. But the sheer number of top-flight footballers that Manchester United create, when you think about the likes of Danny Drinkwater, Danny Simpson, and go on and win leagues with Leicester, or Danny Welbeck has the Premier League career that he has, nobody else brings through that sort of talent. Certainly in England, we are unmatched. Then you have the likes of Ron Robert Zieler, who was the German backup goalkeeper when they won the World Cup, Manchester United Academy products. United have got so much history of bringing through players that go on and do stuff in the game. Kobbie Mainoo's emergence has provided another academy graduate to that long list of players that have played for the club and then gone on and hopefully this weekend realises his international debut. It's a bright spot in what's been an up and down season. I think he individually is a bright spot in what has been a massively up and down season. But I think he's also won the hearts of United fans across the world. So I wanted to do a quick 5 things that we learned about him. So here we go. Number 1, temperament. Probably what's been one of the most impressive and commendable things about him is his whole aura. And that, his temperament, his composure, all that sort of comes underneath that. He is completely undaunted. You got to look at who his first games were against, where he was making his first games. We was taking him to St James's Park when they were absolutely flying. I think he went to Goodison when they were absolutely flying. These were the first starts that he was getting. And he was unfazed. And that unfazed allows him to just really focus down on other areas of his game. Like I said, early on in his career, it was easily identifiable that he is different to other academy players. Other academy players come on and they impact the game with energy and youthful exuberance. And they crash into people and they think about, I'm describing Garnacho in a way here. They crash into people, they work hard, they dribble and they try and get shots off. And that's how young players sort of start to find their feet in the game. And the decision-making always comes later. But with Mainoo, it's kind of come first. It's like he's just come in and he's come in with the attitude and aura of a guy 400 appearances deep, when he's played 15 Premier League games for Manchester United, and some of those have been off the bench as well. People, I think, often really underestimate mentality when it comes to elite professional football. When it comes to, skills, technical ability, the likes of, Jeremy Lynch and Billy Wingrove are probably better than a sizable percentage of Premier League players when it comes to their raw technical ability. But the reason that they're not Premier League players and the likes of Ben White or somebody else is their mentality, their reading of the game and their decision-making. So to have a youngster coming in with that level of decision-making, it means he's destined for the top because he's also got the technical ability. I'm going to talk about that in a second. The mentality and attitude are the big intangibles that really start to separate someone from being capable of playing Premier League to someone that can be the upper echelons of playing the Premier League. Like if you look at Roy Keane. Roy Keane had really, really good technique, but you wouldn't see him dancing through opponents and you wouldn't see him doing tricks. He used his technique to make really good decisions. And I see echoes of those just trying to make good decisions with Kobbie Mainoo. And actually we saw a little bit of the flashy stuff against Liverpool because it was the right thing to do at that right time. The right thing to do was to control it with both feet, to dance through opponents and keep the ball away from them. But he only pulls out those tricks when they're necessary. And that is something that cannot be taught. Right, we've got another one here for you then, and it is brought to you by the Spring Cleaning Aces Manscaped. This season, it's all about sorting out your carpets and the drapes of the big names in below-the-waist grooming. Say goodbye to winter fuzz with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and watch as your confidence blooms like those April showers, May flowers. Step into the season and join 10 million fellas worldwide who put their trust in Manscaped. Swim by manscaped.com. Enter the code 5THINGS, that's the number 5 and things, for 20% off plus free shipping. After getting acquainted with Manscaped, I am all in that spring fever. Let's welcome the season's champion, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. There are 2 interchangeable heads, one for a standard trim and the new foil blade for when you're in the mood for smooth. You've got LED lights. You can take it in the bath so you don't have to worry about the cleanup. It'll go in the shower. It's waterproof. You can go wherever you want with it. And it's also a nice compact case that it comes in. It is the go-to travel companion. And don't forget, spring cleaning isn't just about your balls. It's about the full grooming experience with Manscaped as well. You've got the Beard Hedger Pro Kit and the Handyman Electric Face Shaver. Now 20% off and get free shipping with the code 5THINGS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and nothing on the shipping with the code 5THINGS at Manscaped. Nothing quite like a little bit of spring cleaning in your kecks. Go get it done. Number 2, on the technical ability. Now, a lot of people liken him to Seedorf. I think visually he looks a little bit like Seedorf. You know, he's a young black lad that is quite stockily built and he sort of controls midfield with a composure. It's a very easy but also lazy comparison to make. I think he looks a little bit more like Thiago Alcantara. I think he looks a little bit more like Michael Carrick. I think these are the players that he sort of lines up alongside. You know, he's press resistant. He has quick feet. He has ball carrying ability. I mean, Seedorf had a touch of the Roy Keanes about him at times. Seedorf would go in and absolutely smash people. He was a physical beast. Whereas I think Mainoo's a lot more refined than that. Now, I think he's got the frame to carry a very imposing physical presence. But I think he's also got the technical ability and certainly the brain to be more of a Thiago Alcantara, more of possibly even like more like Pirlo, perhaps without the range. Like he's got that sort of deep lying playmaker vibe about him rather than the sort of raw box to box aggressor that the likes of Keane and Seedorf were. I think he's very cultured in his distribution. He uses his weak foot quite a lot at times. There's great detail on his passes. We have seen glimpses of ranges, but we're not seeing those Scholesy 45 yards with backspin out to a winger where it just drops dead for them. We're not seeing that yet. Does he have it in his locker? I bet he's working on it. I get the impression that that's the case. You know, he already has a little bit of a signature trick. You know, he already has a little bit of the Trivelo, which is the outside of the foot pass. He's already got those sorts of things in his bag. This is a guy 15 games into his Premier League career. I don't think people are really understanding. All we should be seeing from him right now is him just trying to work hard. He's got so much more in his locker than that. Number 3, physicality. Now, I think he's a lot bigger than people think. Both broader and taller. He's shown strength in the duels that he's got already. I think he's taller than me. I'm 5'10", right? And I think he's either 5'11" or 6 foot. And I think he's probably going to get maybe another inch or 2 taller than that as well. He's definitely only going to get stronger. He's already got a great low centre of gravity and he looks quite powerful. He doesn't look like Garnacho at the moment looks like a youngster playing in the Premier League. He quite often gets muscled off the ball and he quite often gets out-physicaled. And that's not happening with Mainoo. It's already quite powerful. And people, including myself, have questioned the recovery pace. I don't know if he's got a touch of the Pogba about him where he doesn't look like he's actually going that fast. But I think he's got the ability to sprint to cover distance. I think he's quick enough. I don't think you would call pace one of his outstanding attributes, but I actually don't think he's slow. I think he's got this sort of languid Berbatov kind of way of playing where it sort of lulls you into the false sense of security that maybe he's not that quick. But yeah, I think he's there. And there's one question perhaps, which might be his stamina. But I also think that this is 15 games into your Premier League career. The uptick in physicality or stamina required to play Premier League football. It's not just a case of can you run at one pace, for 90 minutes. It's can you introduce a ton of sprints into that? Can you people can do 14, 15K in 90 minutes. It's not a drama. But it's when you're adding the sprints into that, when you're adding the pauses for set pieces into that, and then, the continual sprint, little shuttles that have to be done. I think his stamina is an area that he can improve, but it's an area that I expect him to improve. It's not an area that I would have a question mark over him getting fixed. Number 4, versatility. Now, he's already played a number of positions, and I think we're sort of seeing him developing into this sort of number 8. Someone that can do a little bit of both sides of the game. I think he's got assets when it comes to getting on the ball in the final third, where he can help create stuff, but I also think he's got ways of shutting opposition down. So that's a true 8. He can do both aspects of the game. He's not going to be an out-and-out destroyer. I don't think that suits his style, and I don't think he's an out-and-out attacking playmaker. I think his football IQ shows that he can be effective at both ends, both boxes. And he's a midfielder that's quite a rare profile nowadays, because people are genuinely pigeonholed into 6s, 10s, or the 8s nowadays tend to be just pure box-to-box McTominay types. And I think there's more to him than that. We even sort of shown the ability to play a little bit of fullback, so he can probably even play a little bit wide. We saw him against Arsenal kind of occupying that right-back space in pre-season. And I think, he was injured the next game, so we didn't get to see any sort of development of that. And it makes me laugh, actually. I'd like to go back and check out some of the videos that we did around the Real Madrid game. I think we were saying, if Mainoo would have played that game, we might have actually beaten Real Madrid, which actually sounds insane. But now with the evidence that we're seeing in front of us, might have actually been quite astute. I think Mainoo's versatility is a big blessing for him, because it can be a curse. Some players, Phil Neville's the one that springs to mind a little bit with this one. They become a little bit of a utility player where your use is the fact that you can fill in many different holes rather than you can go and truly excel in one particular position. If you go, I'm a right back and I'm a right back and I'm a right back, then you're playing right back. Whereas if you can fill in as a 6, fill in at right back, fill in at centre half, maybe even play as a winger occasionally, you're getting kept around the squad because that's a valuable set of attributes to have. But you're never really going to nail down that starting position where you're going to get to play games and develop on the pitch, which is where a lot of the development really does. But I'm pretty sure that even if the detail of where Mainoo plays in midfield can change from game to game, I think the fact that he'll be in midfield from game to game is a big plus for him. And then number 5, limitless potential. I don't know of a youngster that came through with this level of maturity, so I don't know where I can't plot out a route in my head for how he gets to the top or where his natural ability sort of tapers off, because the decision-making and football intelligence is legitimately standalone. So it's the other aspects of the game, the other stuff, can he then start to apply inspiration and pressure to other people in the team? Can he then start to, he's 18 and we're already talking about this, but can he start to raise the levels of other people's game? Can he help other people with their decision making? When this guy's on the ball, can he be the one that alleviates the pressure by going short to him and giving him the easy out? That's the sort of things that Roy Keane would go and do. The things that aren't really good for stats, the things that aren't really going to be picked up by match of the day, but the things that undoubtedly help you win a game of football, that's what you want. I just don't know where this ceiling comes. Youngsters, you see them come in with raw ability. Wayne Rooney was one where you go, oh my goodness, this is just an unbelievable level of raw ability here, but the decision making at times leaves a lot to be desired. And sometimes his inconsistency, and with Rooney there was a lot of like anger and frustration as well. If it wasn't going his way, he would get a bit mad with it sometimes. And he grew and he evolved past that, and he grew into a lot more of a calmer sort of player, but he hit genuine world class at multiple stages in his career. You can't see the gaps that Mainoo needs to fill in, which is terrifying, because then you go, okay, so where does he go from here? He's only 18, but he feels like he's the sort of player that might be a Manchester United player for the next 15 years. I genuinely think he's someone that United need to build around. Please let me know in the comments. Have I overcooked this? I don't think I have. I think I'm watching one of the all-time great Manchester United players starting their career. That's what it feels like. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.